There's a certain energy that follows Prince Harry whenever he steps foot in London. You can feel it in the air, a kind of electricity that runs through the crowds gathered near court entrances and cathedral steps. It's the sound of camera shutters, of people calling out his name not with contempt but with genuine warmth. Cheers, not jeers, smiles, not scowls. And no matter how desperately the tabloid machine wants to pretend otherwise, Prince Harry continues to be one of the most beloved and respected figures in modern royal history. And that was on full display this week, once again, as Harry returned to the UK, stepping into the courtroom not for drama or spectacle, but for something so basic, so human, the right to feel safe. He was there for the second day of his appeal hearing regarding his security in the UK, a fight he should never have to wage, but one he continues to face with quiet courage and unshakable purpose. Now imagine this: a man born into a royal family, someone whose childhood was spent navigating the press gauntlet after losing his mother in one of the most public tragedies in recent
Harry
history,
and Meghan Markle
now has
at
to
risk
fight his
of
own
losing
government
royal
just to be
title?
protected.
UK's
who
royal
served his country
family
in war
prepared
zones,
to strip
who
Harry
created
and
the
Markle of
Invictus
Sussex
Games to support
titles.
wounded veterans,
New media
who represents
report
his
makes
mother's
big
legacy of
claims.
compassion and humanity,
Meghan and
is
Harry
now
in
told
fresh
his life
trouble?
doesn't merit automatic
What next
protection.
for the royal
Let that
couple?
sink in. But
Prince
Harry,
and
being who he
Meghan
is,
Markle might
walked
be in
into that
fresh
courtroom
trouble.
with his head held high,
According to
just
some
like he always
reports,
does.
after
And as
relinquishing
usual,
their
the British
His
press,
Royal
despite
Highness
their
titles,
obsession with trying
Prince
to paint
Harry
him as a
and Meghan
pariah,
might lose
couldn't
out
help
on
but
their
call out
Sussex
to him,
titles
"Sir,
as well.
over here, sir!
Since
Good to see
Meghan's
you, sir!"
lifestyle show with Love,
There's something poetic
Meghan
about
premiered
that.
on Netflix.
Even the paparazzi
The
can't help
former
but acknowledge
American
the dignity
actress
in
has
this man.
attracted much
That's
attention.
power. That's presence.
With positive,
That's Prince
Meghan
Harry.
has also
And while
received
the
negative
institution may
reviews.
try to erase him from the royal
One
narrative,
particular
the
bit
people
from the
haven't
show
forgotten.
hasn't gone down
Just
well
like
with
during
the
the Invictus
netizens, and
anniversary
now
service
it
at
seems
St.
the
Paul's
same
Cathedral
hasn't
last
gone
year,
down well
when the
with the
royal
British
family
royals as
orchestrated
well.
a cold and calculated
As seen in
snub
the second
to make Harry
episode of the
appear
Lifestyle
isolated,
Show,
the public had other
Meghan and
plans.
Mindy Kaling
Hundreds
prepared
lined
for
the
a garden
streets,
party
the Spencers
and
showed
talked
up,
about
and the
foods they
energy
ate
was
when they
electric.
were kids.
The Windsors were so
During the
sure they could make
episode,
Harry look like a
Meghan was
forgotten
seen
figure,
correcting
but
Mindy
instead,
and
they were
telling
left
her she
watching
is
in
Sussex
quiet bitterness
now.
as the people showed him
Later,
nothing but love.
Meghan, while
And it
speaking to a
happened again
media
this
network,
week.
said that the
courthouse
Sussex
may
name
have
is
been
part
the
of their
setting,
love
but it was
story
the
that she
people
will
who
tell
made
Prince
the
Archie and
moment.
Princess Lilibet
As
about
Harry
one
exited
day.
the courtroom on the
Meghan
second day
said
of his
as
hearing,
kids grow,
something
they are
incredible
excited
happened.
to know how
A
their
woman
mother
seated
and
in
father
the gallery
met.
suddenly
She
stood up
said
and
that
shouted,
a huge part of
"I
our love
support you,
story
Prince
is that
Harry."
they share the name
And if that wasn't
Sussex.
powerful enough, she turned to
But
the
if
press
some
and unleashed
reports
the
are to
truth
be
that has
believed, there's a
echoed in so many
possibility
of our
that
hearts for
Meghan and
years.
Prince Harry
If you're
may
members
face
of the
losing
press,
their Duchess
you're the
and
reason
Duke of
he's not in
Sussex
England.
titles.
Can you imagine the
According to
audacity, the
reports,
boldness,
that
and the
might
truth
happen
in
if
that
they
moment?
continue making
She said what needed
critical
to be said,
remarks about
what so
the
many
royal
have been
family.
thinking. Because
Prince
let's
Harry
be honest,
and Meghan
the press
Markle
drove
got
Harry
married
and
in
Meghan out of the
2018,
UK with their
and the
toxic
couple
headlines,
stepped
their
down as
dog
senior
whistle
royals in
racism,
2020.
their relentless campaigns
As
to
part of
isolate,
their
belittle, and
agreement,
destroy. The
Buckingham
press,
Palace
working
stated
hand in
that
hand
they
with
would
the
no
courtiers,
longer use the
created
His
an
Her
environment
Royal
so
Highness
hostile that the
honorific,
only sane
as
option
they
was
were no
escape.
longer working
And now they
members
want
of
to
the
act
royal
confused
family.
about why he doesn't live
However,
in England? Give me
while
a
they
break. Let's
relinquished
not
their
forget why
age-rich
this hearing
titles,
matters.
they
When
retained
Harry
their
and Meghan
titles of
stepped
Duke
back
and
from their
Duchess
working
of
royal
Sussex.
roles in 2020,
When King
the
Charles
UK
ascended
government,
to the
through the
throne in
Ravec
September
Committee, decided to
2022
pull
after
Harry's
Queen
automatic
Elizabeth
security,
II
not
passed
based on
away,
evidence, not
Archie
based
and
on risk,
Lilibet were
but on
afforded the titles
institutional
of
ego
Prince
and
and
spite.
Princess.
And to make matters
A
worse,
royal source
there was
told
no
the media
formal
network
risk
that the
assessment
royal
done.
family is
None of the
considering
standard
a
procedures
potential
were followed.
sanction that could be
Instead,
enforced if
Harry
Prince
was
Harry
handed
and
a bespoke arrangement that his legal team rightly calls manifestly inferior. His lawyer, the incredible Shahid Fatima, delivered a powerful emotional statement in court. She reminded everyone that this isn't about celebrity or protocol, this is about a human being, a man who has already endured unimaginable loss, who is simply asking for the protection he and his family deserve. She said, "There is a person who is sitting behind me whose safety, whose security, and whose life is at stake." And she's right. Every single day there are credible threats against Harry and Meghan. Every single day they are targets, not because of who they are, but because of what they represent. They represent freedom from an archaic system. They represent truth in the face of silence. And they represent what happens when someone refuses to be broken. When Fatima finished her statement, Harry raised his hand to his face, clearly affected by the gravity of the moment. That small, quiet gesture spoke volumes. It was the weight of everything he's been through, everything he continues to fight for. And still, the tabloids tried to spin it, tried to say Harry left the courtroom because of the woman shouting, as if her support somehow rattled him. They just can't help themselves. They twist kindness into disruption, truth into chaos, love into weakness. But we see through it. We always see through it. Harry wasn't rattled, he was uplifted. he was reminded that even in that courtroom, surrounded by a system that has failed him again and again, he is not alone. Now maybe Harry's already headed back to California. Maybe he's gone to wrap his arms around Meghan, Archie, and Lilibet. Maybe he's gone home to the place that actually gives him peace. And if he has, who could blame him? Because what was once a homeland has become a battlefield, and yet, he keeps coming back. He keeps fighting. Not just for himself, but for anyone who's ever been told to shut up, sit down, and know their place. He's fighting for transparency, for justice, for a future where his children aren't collateral damage in a bitter feud between truth and tradition, and he's not backing down. To those who still doubt him, look at the crowds, look at the cheers, look at the woman in the courtroom who had nothing to gain and everything to lose by speaking out, but did it anyway. That's the real story here. That's what the palace and the press don't want you to see. Harry is a man of the people. He is our prince, not just by blood but by spirit, by courage, by action. And to all of you who continue to ride with us, who lift up Harry and Meghan, who choose truth over tabloids and dignity over drama, thank you. You are the reason this community is thriving. You are the heartbeat of the Royal Sussex Squad. A woman shouted her support for Prince Harry inside the courtroom yesterday. For years now, Prince Harry has been popping up in London to make appearances in court. What has consistently surprised me is how well he's treated by paparazzi and the public for these appearances. I've seen videos of Harry walking in and out of the courthouse where the paps are calling out to him, "Sir, over here, sir, good to see you, sir." The public reacts the same way if they catch a glimpse of him. Cheers will erupt at the sight of him, and people jostle for a glimpse of him. It reminds me of his scheduled appearance at St. Paul's Cathedral last year for the Invictus anniversary service. The Windsors made a point of snubbing him, believing that they had set him up to look like a lonely, sad figure. Instead, the Spencers came out to support him, as did the public. The Windsors were super salty that hundreds of people lined the streets and cheered for him, all of which to say, people were thrilled to see Harry again on Wednesday. His security hearing was being held over 2 days, so he was in court again yesterday. That's when some fan got inside the courtroom and began shouting her support for Harry. As Prince Harry left a London courtroom, a woman in attendance shouted in support of the Duke of Sussex, directing an outburst at the press. Harry, 40, returned to court on April 9th for the second day of an appeal hearing pertaining to his security in the UK. At one point, as the court was breaking before a private session and Harry was leaving the room, a woman shouted, "I support you, Prince Harry." The Duke of Sussex exited the courtroom alongside his team as the woman, who arrived late and was fidgeting with phones and a notebook during the hearing, turned to the gallery and said, "If you're members of the press, you're the reason he's not in England." Harry later returned for the private part of the hearing. Much of the argument on Wednesday centered on the fact that no formal risk assessment, RMB, was done when Harry lost automatic security in 2020. Instead, the government's RAVEC committee gave him a case-by-case arrangement based on current needs. Harry's lawyer, Shahid Fatima, delivered an emotional summary on Wednesday saying, "One must not forget the human dimension of this case. There is a person who is sitting behind me whose safety, whose security, and whose life is at stake. There is a person sitting behind me who's been told he is getting a special, bespoke process when he knows in his experience it is a process that is manifestly inferior in every sense. His presence here and throughout this appeal is a potent demonstration of how much this appeal means to him and his family." As she finished speaking, Harry raised his right hand to his face, visibly processing the weight of the moment. The Master of the Rolls, Sir Geoffrey Voss, noted that the substance of the private session would be made public once both parties reached an agreement. "I've seen this moment reported as Harry had to leave the courtroom because the woman shouted, but it seems clear that he was already exiting the courtroom, and that's when the woman shouted her support. Anyway, it's an interesting moment. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole thing was some kind of tabloid op, but you never know." Harry also got more cheers as he left the courthouse yesterday. Is Harry already headed home to California? So if you believe in what we're doing, if you believe in justice, in loyalty, in standing tall, even when the odds are against you, then please make sure you subscribe to the channel. We are building something real here, something powerful, and if you'd like to go even further in your support, tap that super thanks button and show your love. Every bit helps us keep the truth alive and the nonsense in check. This isn't just a podcast, this isn't just a channel, this is a movement, and we're just getting started. Stay safe, stay proud, and stay Royal Sussex strong.